I've been binge-watching and editing shorts from what's arguably the greatest Spider-Man show of all time, the 1990s animated show. My page is flooded with shorts within this series, and for good reason. This Spider-Man cartoon had unforgettable moments. So it only makes sense that the movie adaptations that came later on drew inspiration from it, especially the Raimi movies. This show essentially served as an original blueprint for Raimi. As I'm watching some episodes, I'm spotting many similarities in storylines and villains that clearly mirror the Raimi films. It's crazy how the 90s Spider-Man cartoon pulled so much from the comics, and in doing so, it basically laid the groundwork for what we later saw in the movies. Let's take a look. In the animated series, the Black Suit storyline begins after John Jameson's space shuttle crashes back to Earth while possessing a mysterious alien meteorite. Spider-Man races to the scene, saving the astronauts trapped inside, completely unaware that the meteorite was carrying an extraterrestrial organism. Later that night, Peter unknowingly brings it home. Exhausted, he tosses his suit aside and falls asleep, unaware of what's to come. The symbiote slithers across the floor and attaches to him while he's sleeping. When Peter wakes up, he finds himself hanging upside down from a skyscraper, staring at his reflection in the glass. His suit is now black, sharp, and more menacing than ever. Doesn't this remind you of something? Fast forward over a decade later to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, 2007, and we see the same sequence applied for live action. This time, the symbiote arrives as a meteorite that crashes near Peter and Mary Jane in Central Park. It latches onto Peter's motorbike and follows him home, unseen. Just like in the animated series, the symbiote strikes while he's asleep, consuming his body and transforming him into black-suited Spider-Man. We see nearly the same shot. Peter hanging upside down, admiring his new sleek look reflecting in a building window. You cannot tell me Raimi didn't copy this from the animated series. It's just too obvious. Another clear parallel is the downfall of the Green Goblin. In both versions, after kidnapping Mary Jane, Spider-Man is forced to battle him, and in both cases, the Goblin's defeat plays out exactly the same. In the cartoon, the Green Goblin gains control of a time portal device stolen from another villain, the Spot. He uses it to teleport around the city, trying to confuse Spider-Man. When Spider-Man catches up to him, the Goblin positions himself in front of the portal, commanding his glider to strike Spider-Man from behind, planning to dodge at the last second and send Spider-Man through the portal instead. But Spider-Man's greatest weapon, his spider sense, turns the trick back on him, causing the glider to slam into Goblin and knock him into the portal, making him vanish from Earth. Once again, we've seen this before in 2002's Spider-Man. Raimi pulls this moment straight out of the 90s cartoon. In the film's final showdown, Norman pretends to break free of the Goblin persona, pleading with Peter not to strike him. It's nothing more than a distraction while he sets up his glider to attack Spider-Man from behind. But once again, Spider-Man's spider sense is too sharp. He flips out of the way, and this time the glider impales Norman, pinning him against a wall and ending the Goblin once and for all.
He needs some milk!
Same strategy, similar setup, same fate. Spider-Sense beats the Goblin every time. The show also provided dialogue that was carried into the movies, specifically when Venom was on screen. Spider-Man and Venom have similar encounters, usually with Venom having some sort of control over Spider-Man. In the cartoon, hanging him from the top of a building, and in the film where Venom has used layers of symbiote webbing to hold Spider-Man whilst confronting over top of him. Both adaptations discuss how Venom is now a dangerous personal threat, as he now has the ability to possess every piece of knowledge the alien gained while attached to Peter. That means Eddie knows Spider-Man's identity, his life, his weaknesses, and the people closest to him that he can harm once Spider-Man is gone. He finishes by saying the iconic line used in both versions, "How does that sound? Tiger." His taunting fails, however, as in the cartoon Spider-Man manages to escape his webbing, and in the film Mary Jane throws a brick with 100% accuracy onto Venom. A bonus scene that we get is that while these intense altercations are going on, poor J. Jonah Jameson is still trying to get a decent shot of Spider-Man in action. Here's a classic dinner scene that plays out eerily similar in both versions, but with slight differences. In Raimi's Spider-Man, Aunt May is the host, with Peter, Harry, Norman, and Mary Jane gathered around the table. At first, everything seems normal, until Norman starts noticing small details. He sees a wound on Peter's arm, the very same spot he had injured Spider-Man with his gadget earlier at the burning house. Combined with Peter's nervous reactions and quiet demeanor, Norman pieces it together. Spider-Man might be sitting right in front of him. The tension rises, and once Norman realizes the truth, he storms out, knowing he has found his enemy's true identity. However, the animated series plays this dinner differently. Instead of Aunt May, here it's Norman himself who hosts the dinner party, inviting Harry's friends, including Peter. The twist is that Norman already knows Peter is Spider-Man before the party even begins. So instead of a shocking discovery, the dinner becomes a trap. Norman uses the table as a stage, toying with Peter while everyone else laughs and eats, completely unaware of the hidden game being played. In both versions, Norman Osborn turns the most ordinary setting into a mind game for Peter. But while the film is about Norman's discovery about Spider-Man's identity, the cartoon is about psychological intimidation, showing that Norman doesn't just fight Peter in costume, but also fights with his brain. Warnings about the potential dangers the symbiote can cause to Spider-Man were showcased in both the show and the film by Dr. Curt Connors. The animated series Dr. Connors is a lab scientist who was approached by Spider-Man to understand the symbiote's alien-like material. While analyzing the sample Spider-Man brought him, Dr. Connors discovers the symbiote is alive, and it's no good. He further explains how the substance bonds on a psychological level, feeding on aggression and triggering dark thoughts. The more Peter uses it, the more it consumes his mind. Overall, Connors addresses that it's not safe. But instead of listening, Spider-Man swings off, completely ignoring Dr. Connors, unaware of the darkness he's welcoming into his life. 2007's Spider-Man 3 reflects the same scenario. Peter, after gaining the suit, doesn't know much about it, although he likes the power it gives him. Just like in the show, he brings it to Dr. Curt Connors, who in this movie is Peter's professor, to figure out the science behind his new suit. And once again, Peter learns the symbiote is a living organism that is full of hatred. Call back to the show. Peter carelessly listens. He's too carried away by the thrill the suit gives him. Both scenes tell the same story and lead up to the same plot. Whether animated or live action, Connors serves the same narrative purpose, acting as the moral and scientific voice against Peter's growing obsession. Both scenes remind us that every warning ignored has a price, and Peter's experience with the symbiote perfectly captures that lesson. It's clear that the 90s Spider-Man animated show had a bigger influence on the movies than most people realize. These replicated scenes never get old because they take those same moments and elevate them onto a whole different version. That consistency is what makes Spider-Man so enjoyable. We get a familiar topic of Spider-Man's life play out in different ways. Everything still feels new and not overused. Raimi did a fantastic job at interpreting the show's best material. That's what makes these scenes feel so iconic even in present day.